really believe that what you focus on is the most important part of a marriage or a relationship or the person you love. You will always find something that you don't like about another human being. But you don't focus on that. You focus on the things that you love, and magically, that's what you see more and more often.
You're listening to the Almost 30 Podcast, a lifestyle podcast hosted by Krista Williams and Lindsay Simsick.
Tune in for a new episode every Tuesday to hear our honest conversations about topics like wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and self-development with guests who are really smart, really inspirational,
and really fucking funny. It's real, it's raw, and it's unfiltered.
Inspired by our transition from our 20s to our 30s, we realized it's so much more than that. Our mission is to provide you with the tools, guidance, and motivation to help you navigate any transitions in your life and propel your personal growth.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Almost 30 Podcast.
Here we go. Welcome to the Almost 30 Podcast, everybody.
What's up, babies?
What's up? We have Chloe Money in the house, our producer.
Chloe Money.
Hi. Our source of light and inspiration.
Do people call you Chloe Money before us?
Yeah.
Don't say that.
No, but you guys like milk it, you know, like other friends were like, they were like, maybe, you know,
we like tattooed it on our
literally. Yeah. They were like, Chloe Money. And I'd be like, and they'd just be like, I give up. Or they'd just be like,
We literally
made you
her.
adopt it.
Like, that's going to be you guys made me change to on my birth certificate. So
what's your middle name? Oh, Ellen.
Thank you for saying that to the world.
Are you trying to hide it?
You know, it's just like not, you know, it's a stigma. It's a stigma.
Wait, is your whole name Chloe?
Yeah.
It's not Chloe.
Yeah, I'm like, is there a longer
Chloe?
Is there a longer version of Chloe?
No.
Oh, I didn't know if it was like Charlotte. Anyway, I love the name.
We
thank
approve
you.
of your
I'll
name.
tell my parents. I'll tell Stevens too.
Tell your hot dad.
Oh my, Krista. It's okay. He doesn't know technology, so he'll never hear this.
Literally,
Father.
dads don't know technology.
We're gonna put, if you guys join the secret Almost 30 Facebook group, you're gonna
it's about
see
to get real creepy in there.
a really hot dad.
You need to take a lap. You just need to take
Take a lap is my favorite thing I've ever been told.
Take a lap. You need
Chloe Money like keeps us young by
Keeps us so young.
You both need
by introducing us to
Finstas.
phrases
Finsta.
like.
Do you guys know what a Finsta is?
savage.
Apparently, everyone knows what a Finsta is.
I don't really
Yeah.
use. I think they're coming out of style now.
Oh, okay.
But like, you know,
That's because we found out about
Can
them.
you explain what a Finsta is?
it's a Finsta. It's a fake Instagram. So basically, if you have a group of friends, like your top 60 group of friends, that you would be willing to share the
I have like 5 friends.
the secret depths of your,
Gang's all here.
I don't know, your actions in your life that you would never, and embarrassing moments that you would never post on your actual Instagram.
Yeah.
It's kind of the anti-Instagram. You basically are just, it's like your diary.
Oh, I love that. So it's
that's
like
cool.
not the highlight reel.
Yeah. So like one time I photoshopped my face onto this like thing of Kendrick Lamar. And I put on my Finsta, like, you know, in the Humble music video when it was like him in the row and it was just like him in the middle. I don't know. It's a long story, but basically you can put that type of shit on there.
So it's like for inside jokes.
Kind of, yeah.
I
Like
just
I
get
put a lot of
scared,
photos
like-
of my dog.
So is it like a determinant to who like your friends are? Is like follow your
you're like,
stuff?
you know that you want your close friends to be like, okay, so you'd obviously have Lindsay follow you. Like you'd be like, okay, Lynn's gotta see this. Like she's gotta see this. Or
You
like
have Almost 30
like
Nation.
Justin. Yeah. No, not almost 30. No. You
Too
want
big?
Too big.
Yeah, you want like your
if you're over 100 followers on your Finsta, you're like, you need to consolidate because one person's going to talk to another person, and then because you put your gossip on there, you put like your beef on there.
Really?
Yeah, like I've had people.
I wouldn't.
I've had people.
I
This
put
is a
my
funny
nude
story.
pics on there.
This is a funny story. So I had a friend, short story, but I had a friend who had a crush on this boy, and he said, and she put like a photo of him on there, and she's like, oh my, and she had a name for him, like Frosted Tip Bay. And because he had like, you know, those 90s Frosted Tip things.
Oh my God, shut
And a friend who followed the Finsta, one of the 90 people,
Told Frosted Tip Bay.
Told a friend who told Frosted Tip Bay. And one time Frosted Tip Bay came up to this girl and said, hey, I heard about your Finsta, like all of that. And like he knew. It's like you got to be careful who follows your Finsta. It's a cult.
So embarrassed.
No, yeah. So that's why I kind of stopped doing it because my life's too like serious now. It's like there's so much at stake.
Yeah, true. You've got a business. You've got a business.
My life is too serious now. Yeah, I'm 22 and I have so much fucking at stake.
But actually,
she's like, Mom, Dad, what's for dinner?
Yeah, like I can't let other people know that. I don't know.
Dude, Chloe runs almost 30.
Yeah, actually,
it's crazy.
CEO. Wait, can we tell the story about the photo shoot?
Yeah, 100%. So Chloe's in town. Chloe lives up in San Francisco, and we are blessed to have her down with us this weekend. And we started our weekend with a video and photo shoot with Lanston Sport. We're doing a special campaign with them. Stay tuned for that. But okay, take it away. Go ahead.
So we get there. It's like 4:40 in downtown LA. And they have a bunch of people that are shooting. So
we're like in line.
We're in line. Like you're just, there's a schedule and then there's not a schedule. We're going and then we're stopping. So we had been there for like an hour. Mm-hmm. It was completely normal. Like it was fine. It was great. Yeah. But we'd been there for like an hour and then
it was about like 6:30. Yeah. And you guys were like taping.
We had to be in Malibu by 8. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah.
But yeah.
So the producer goes up. Me and Lindsay are behind the camera.
Yeah, you guys are shooting right now.
We're shooting.
And I'm kind of like in my chair, like, I don't really know what.
Chilling.
Like,
she's just taking
I was kind of like, my back hurts. So,
so she's doing nothing. She's on the Finsta.
That's not true. That is absolutely not true.
She was working.
I was honestly
the producer went up
you
to
guys.
her. The producer went up to her and was like, what did she say?
She's like, so what's the time frame? Like, how much time do we have left? And in my head, I'm literally just like, honestly, I've always wanted to be asked this. So I just was like, 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes.
She told her we have 10 minutes.
Like whipped it out with so much confidence. It was a straight face. She goes, we have 10 minutes. Literally. And we were like, I saw her do it and I was like, fuck. I literally saw my future. Yeah. It was not necessarily Chloe being our whatever, because Chloe's going to be much bigger than that. She's going to actually be my boss. But it was like a moment where I was like, damn, like, you know what I mean?
I was like,
you
I just
stood in your motherfucking light.
But like, I mean, low key, I was like, we do have 10 minutes. We're gonna get to Malibu.
Yeah,
you're like,
this
looking
is
at
my
maps.
Virgo analness. I mean, I'm not a Virgo, I'm a Leo, but I'm the cusp one day. But I still have so much fucking Virgo in me. But like, yeah, you're
more Virgo than me. I'm a Virgo. I'm not really a Virgo.
I was very just like, I'm having anxiety right now. Everyone needs to get their shit together.
Yeah,
but also, I just wanted to milk it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
When in doubt. The
shoot was so fun. Lanston's dope.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Was awesome.
Yeah, that was real professional.
It was
really
amazing.
That was great. That was hard, but it was great.
No, it was.
And then we went to Malibu, and we were lucky enough to stay at the Malibu Beach Inn, which is our favorite place to rest, recharge. And we celebrated 2017 and started to plan for 2018.
Cultivating 2018.
Really exciting.
Yeah, that place is so nice.
It's a little slice of heaven. It's small. It's intimate. It's quiet.
Yeah.
And the staff is amazing. The accommodations are
on fleek.
The staff is so good.
Single thing has been thought of.
Yeah, it's like that. You know that phrase, every word counts. It's like the Malibu Beach Inn is everything in that place counts.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the detail in every room, down to the goddamn toilet from space.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Every time you walk in,
cool.
there's a warm toilet waiting for you.
Toilet seat.
Yeah.
And you can wash your little tushy, or you can just sit there and have
I washed my face in there.
Music. Yeah, she did.
It was so clean. I washed my whole face in there. I had never been to a toilet so nice.
But it's just beautiful, and the room was right on the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, the breakfast, we had Carbon Beach Club breakfast was bomb.
It's so fresh. You know, when the lettuce, you have lettuce and it's just crunchy and crisp.
Yes,
that is their lettuce.
Yeah. And the fruit
that is a metaphor. That's honestly just a metaphor.
I know. I was like, are you giving us a metaphor?
Yeah, I was like, this is a metaphor.
Wait, what was the metaphor? I missed
crispy lettuce to Malibu Beach Inn.
Beach Inn. I'm like, this is. It's like, this is a metaphor.
But we love them, and we're
So
highly
LA babes. I feel like in our
always.
group, our secret Facebook group, everyone's always like, "What should I do when I'm in LA?"
You got to
go
visit,
there.
Go to
Go there.
dinner.
Go there.
Go to brunch.
stay there if you
And
can.
it's not crazy. It's not crazy busy.
not at all. You feel like you're the only person.
And they,
Even though
they-
you're not. It's like
You're
has
not.
enough people.
Well,
But yeah,
and
exactly.
they
You feel
kind
like
of
you're special.
They kind of pride themselves on like having that like serenity.
They
in a
know
way.
they know who you are. You walk up to the front to the check-in. Like
They're ready
you're
for
like,
you.
Hi, almost
They're
30. Oh my
peanuts.
God, hi. How are you?
Cookies.
So glad you're
They
here.
give us
The
cookies.
Highly recommend. If I were, I'm going to give them like 5 stars out of 5 stars on Yelp, whatever. But the 3 out of 5 is solely for the cookies.
Why are they getting a 3 out of 5?
No,
No, I
meaning
meant
the 3 out of the 5 stars.
out of the 5 stars I'm
Okay,
giving
okay,
them
okay.
Yeah.
is for the cookies.
Yeah, it's so.
Yeah, it was amazing. Jordan, who works there too, she's
A doll.
I mean,
number
on
one.
it, just down to the very last
No,
detail.
and she's renovating
best.
all of it. I mean, she's doing all of the design, all of the like marketing work. So
yeah, that's
We love
genius.
her.
Yeah, she's
And then we had our event at Box Union.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great. Box Union.
Box Union was fun, dude. I like how dark it was.
It's like Soul Cycle for boxing.
Yeah, you're like on your own kind. Like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not on your own. You have a teacher who's Sydney was awesome, but
Sydney
you're just
Rose,
kind of like I don't know. You're in your zone.
You're in your zone. You're not same with Soulside. It's like that
yeah.
that
You
vibe
don't feel
where
like you're competing. It's a collective consciousness
it's amazing.
kind of thing.
So
Yeah.
you're doing bag work, you're doing hit training. It's to the beat of the music, which is always
I like
fun, and you kind of can lose yourself in it.
Yeah.
and it's a good vibe in the room. It's super clean and modern, and it's really nice. It's on Ocean Ave in Santa Monica, across from the Lowe's Hotel, and we just love them there. So we did an event today. About 40 babes showed up, and we just rocked it out. It was so
And we
fun.
kicked ass.
Yeah, we kicked ass, man.
All the babes kicked ass.
So yeah, we're so excited. We're working this weekend, man.
we're
Yeah.
Tomorrow we have our Primal Kitchen. I know this episode's going to come out in a couple weeks, but
Yeah, we're
Primal
just
Kitchen event. It's gonna be-
grinding. You know, I think it's grind time.
It's grind time.
And like honestly, why not?
Why not?
Just why not? Just
Yep.
do it. Just do
it.
the work.
So we were working all day on strategizing for almost 30 next year.
For the next year, we're just thinking about new ideas. So.
Yeah, doing like our calendar, figuring out
Events, guests,
Yeah.
sponsors,
cities we're gonna go to.
cities we're gonna freaking
Yeah,
arrive
stay tuned
at.
for the Almost 30 meetup tour.
Yeah. It's more like not us going there, but it's more like creating a space where people can come together that are like-minded.
A meetup
Exactly.
for all of,
And if you have any ideas, please email almost30podcast@gmail.com because we want to hear you.
Yeah.
We want to hear what you have to say. And we love it. We just love it because honestly, sometimes it's just like, what do
love you
you
so
want?
much.
Just what do you want?
What do you want?
I know.
Let us know.
What do you want from us?
What do you want from us?
Usually when we're like dry out of ideas, and an email will come in, we're like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
this is the golden
it.
ticket.
That's it.
Yeah. We get our ideas from Secret Almost 30 Facebook group.
Yeah, like a lot of the guests. Absolutely.
So for next year, we're going to go to Chicago. We'll be in New York. We'll be in San Fran. And then we also too are going to bring on amazing guests that are in areas that we've talked about. So like sex, intimacy, those ones did really well. And then also too like finance, money, more funny dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny ladies.
We're not
too.
going to bring on the same old guests.
Yeah, we're going to
No.
diversify in so many ways. So if you guys have suggestions, please let us know. But we are working hard on it. And we'll keep you posted so that you can submit questions if you are curious about any of those areas. And this week, we have on Charity Lighten.
Charity Lighten is a doll.
It was so,
It was like, I think I cried.
yeah, it was actually very emotional. She was just so like open
I like what I
with her story.
about her.
Charity Lighten is a nutritionist at Silver Fern and for Silver Fern. And she shared with us her journey with, body image issues, her battle with, diets on and off, yo-yo dieting, and kind of being obsessed with the outside, with the image, how she looked to being confronted with a barrage of people who she loved getting cancer. And it kind of shifted her perspective.
So we talk about her journey with her body, and then we also talk about the cancer. We talk about cancer. Her husband actually was diagnosed with cancer recently. So we spent quite a bit of time talking about his journey and how he is healing his body with a nutritious and green dense diet. And something that really stuck out with me was how Charity spoke about her husband and the love and joy and respect that she had for him in their relationship. It was so deeply moving, to hear someone that's been married for quite some time just really feel those butterflies for their husband and really love them. So in addition to that, importantly too, we talked about the microbiome. We talked about gut health. I feel like I hear about gut health and probiotics and prebiotics all the time. So asking her what exactly those are, she's an expert in the gut health space. So what you need to look for in the right probiotic, why you need to take them, why gut health is important, and how to really balance your body from that place so that you feel more calm, more centered, more like yourself, and more at home in your body.
Yeah. She also talks about, how she's, she doesn't eat perfectly every day and how you can really focus on what you incorporate instead of what you want to exclude, and focusing on the bigger picture. So if you're incorporating fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and that every day, that you're doing really well. So not focusing on those days that you might stray, but kind of celebrating the majority of days that you stay on track. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. We know you will. I mean, we go deep with Charity, and we really thank you, Charity, so much for being so open and honest and giving. So yeah, let us know what you think. Join our secret Facebook group, and we love you guys. Thank you so much for being the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
guys.
you. We love you.
Yeah.
Peace and love.
Peace, love. Almost 30.
Almost 30. Enjoy. This episode is brought to you by SigMatic. You guys, Almost 30 Nation is buzzing about the SigMatic. I'm so glad you guys are loving it. So are we. We are using it every day, and for different reasons too. Yesterday, I used my cordyceps for my workout. This morning, I was doing a fuck ton of work, and I was using my lion's mane. It really helps with focus. The mushroom kingdom is a kingdom that's kind of like underused in this way. And they are using reishi, chaga, cordyceps, and lion's mane, as well as other superfoods and adaptogens to make elixirs and superfood mixes that are really easy to incorporate into your everyday. You just mix them with hot water or your favorite nut milk, anything that you want to help you, feel better, think more clearly, and just show up in a way that makes you feel really grounded, confident, and in your body. Krista, what are you taking right now?
I do lion's mane every morning.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah, it's the bomb.
I'm
It's
obsessed.
nice too because, like you said, they have the superfoods in them. So with my hormone issue and balancing my hormones, I need to get in things like Rodila.
I know, it's a hard one.
Whatever.
I don't know.
It's in there. So it basically is a nice way to have natural, functional, magical mushrooms every single day and delicious, easy to consume drinks. These taste amazing. So don't think that you're going to taste anything that tastes like a mushroom. It tastes like hot chocolate. It tastes like orange juice. It tastes like berries. That it's honestly amazing, and it's not too sweet.
Yeah, and if you're confused about what all of this is, please check out our episode with Taro, the founder and president of SigMatic. Also, recently obsessed with the mushroom matcha with lion's mane. It is so damn good. I think it was sold out the other day, and I've been waiting till it's restocked.
Yeah,
it's
actually
so good.
it was when I asked him for it. It was sold out.
Really good. So go to SigMatic.com/almost30 and you will get 15% off your order. So go on there, stock up.
Stock up.
SigMatic, FOURSIGMATIC.com/almost30 for 15% off. This episode is also brought to you by
Dame products.
Products.
Dame girl.
Dame.
Girl. Where'd you get your vibrator from?
What if we just all carried it around in our purse?
That'd be amazing.
And we dumped it out when we went through security, but no one flinched. They're yeah, that's her.
Yep. That's the
Their
vibe. It's giving the vibe.
You guys, our sponsor, Dame Products, just released a new product
Called the Eva 2.
Eva 2.
So what's amazing about Dame is they have 3 products, so they keep it fucking simple.
Simple, man.
Simple,
And do it
beautiful.
right.
well-made products that are really easy to navigate. So they have 2 that are for you. You can wear them actually when having sex too, but then they have one that you could also use with your partner. So the Eva 1 and the Eva 2, you can wear. They're amazing.
You can hug onto your labia. Okay. Well, I feel like you need to go to the website to really understand, but dameproducts.com. But like, it's so cute. It has these little arms that kind of like hug the right areas so it stays on while you're having sex. Ladies, do you know what I mean? You just need a little extra external stimulation.
A lot
and it's
extra.
like great. And it's great. It like helps out your partner as well. And it's nothing to be like weird about. I love it. It's amazing. It's clean. And like the vibrator, the rumble factor, on point.
On another level. Takes you to Mars. Just kidding. But seriously, I actually have the products. Let's just say they're amazing. But seriously, they're really good. And they're quality. So Eva 1, Eva 2. The Eva 2 is new. It's really rad. I can't wait to get it. And these are the best vibrators you can buy. DameProducts.com.
So use our code almost30 and you can get 15% off. So go to dameproducts.com, use our code almost30, 15% off. You know, if you're in a relationship, this could be like a really fun addition.
It could save your relationship.
Actually, true. And people don't even know. They're like, no, I would never have help. It's like, ask for help. Ask a little robot vibrator thing.
Yeah, literally. Outsource your orgasm.
Okay, guys. Enjoy this. DameProducts.com. Love you.
Enjoy. So I'd love to get started and kind of just bring us back a little bit and talk about, your journey. Because I can imagine someone like you that has so much education and that's been in this space for so long that you had some events or you've had some things in your past, maybe with your family or growing up or your body or eating that have led you to pursue this path.
Yeah, that's actually really, really funny that you would say that because my first degree, my bachelor's degree is in accounting. So like totally not related at all, right?
Yep.
But I have always been a little bit on the chubby side. That's just kind of my body type. I'm a little curvy and I went through so many years where I was like, oh, I will do anything to be skinny. So, all those fad things, I tried all of them. And then, I was married and then I had baby. And I remember just kind of coming to myself thinking, okay, Charity, you've got to get to a point where it's not just about being skinny anymore. Like you've got to really focus on being healthy. And I think so many women can relate to that, don't you?
100%.
Yes. So how did you get to that point? What was it that made you get to that point? Because I feel like, I teeter from being one or the other. So, how did you solidly get to that point?
I still think it's a fine line. I had a few interesting events that happened in my life. One of my girlfriends, had a little nursing baby. She had a little nursing baby and she had a clogged milk duct that wouldn't go away. And finally she got it looked into and they said, you've got aggressive breast cancer. And she was 29. And so the craziest thing happened though. All of a sudden, our neighbor across the street got cancer. 2 of our friends got cancer. My parents lost their best friends, husband and wife, to cancer. It just kind of felt like it was everywhere. And I remember just having this kind of inner awakening going, man, if there is anything that I should know or can do to maybe help my family, then I really want to know. And that's really that was the instigator that kind of, I delved into everything disease-related, cancer-related. I started teaching classes all over. I became certified as a nutritionist. And lo and behold, 2 years ago, my sweet love of my life was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And we've been battling that battle ever since. So that's kind of what has fueled my passion. And my passion vacillates a lot between things like gut health, which we're going to talk about tonight.
Yep.
My most recent passion has been a little bit of how sugar affects our brain, because sugar is my Achilles heel. It does. It triggers me up. Like it lights my brain like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, same.
So just different elements of health and nutrition are always very, very, very fascinating to me.
In terms of, how you are able to, I guess, approach cancer, whether it's someone close to you or maybe a few, layers away from your family. How do you think like your science brain kind of interacts with your emotional brain, in terms of how you help people to heal, how you help them gain perspective on the fight, on keeping positive, and how that has an effect on the fight itself?
Oh, that's such a good question. It's funny, all the things that I thought I knew, I don't really know, because it's been a long road. It's been a battle, and we're still battling. So one thing I've learned is that not everybody's path is the same. There's a lot of people that are strong for alternative treatments. We've done a lot of those. There's a lot of people that are, really strong for conventional treatments. And my take on it now is when somebody's got cancer, as an outsider, your best role is just to love. Like, just to love whatever your opinions are, whatever you might think you know or don't know. Everyone's journey is quite different, but our journey has been one filled with hope, even in dire circumstances. Like my honey is just the type of guy, he'll wake up in the morning and he'll say, "Babe, give me a kiss. Our future's so bright."
Oh.
And I'm like, "Oh, I love you."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a journey, but yeah, that was unexpected, right? We weren't even going to talk about cancer tonight.
Well, but I mean, it's part of your path. So how do you stay positive? How do you both stay positive in the face of so much pain?
Well, fear is a really, really real thing, and fear can be crippling. And when I can pause and realize that my thoughts are fear-based, I can go, okay, just take a step back. I also have a really strong relationship with God, where I've had to really ask myself, do I believe in God? And if I do I trust him? So from a very emotional, spiritual standpoint, sometimes I just have to sit back and go, you know what? There's a plan, and I don't know the answers, and I don't think I will know the answers right now. But when I'm in that space, there's a very real peace that fills me. And so I just cling to that rather than fear.
And have you always had such a strong relationship with God, or has this brought you closer, kind of closer to him or her?
Yeah, I was raised to believe in God. I was raised to pray. But boy, there's nothing like the threat of losing your rock that brings you to your knees faster, and nothing that makes you more dependent on a higher power. So yeah, I would definitely say it has brought me closer in a really cool way. Not in a like I'm clinging out of desperation, but almost like I'm letting go and turning it over to you type of a way.
Taking like the weight off. I think so much of like the pressure of trying to be strong is also crippling when you're battling cancer. Whether you are or your partner or someone close to you, I think like that pressure can be so much. And if you're not equipped with the tools to handle that intense emotion and like you said, fear, I mean, whoa. Yeah. So faith is everything. That's amazing.
How do you stay so in love? This is kind of off topic, but like the way you speak about your husband is like so beautiful.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie, but here's the beauty, which I never ever thought these words would even come out of my mouth. But here's the beauty of cancer. The things that I used to focus on the ways that we weren't connecting, the things that we weren't doing, areas that I was like, oh, we don't even go to bed at the same time, and we don't like the same things. And all of a sudden cancer has a way of going, your focus changes. And I really believe that what you focus on is the most important part of a marriage or a relationship or the person you love. You will always find something that you don't like about another human being. But you don't focus on that. You focus on the things that you love. And magically, that's what you see more and more often is just the things that you love, because that's what you're focusing on.
Yeah, I do that. I practice that in my own relationship. And I have seen, results of that come back just twofold. And it's, it feels weird at first. It feels maybe not weird, but it just feels a little, it's hard to describe, but it's like thinking about all the things you love about that person and really telling yourself, I love that we get along in this way, or I love that we have these interests. Because if you're in a relationship with someone, the chances are there's hopefully 80% more, 90%. There's a greater portion of them that you love than there are things that are wrong. So really just taking the time to focus on all of those things, and you'll see more of those positive things come back to you. So yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, totally. And we forget, right? Sometimes we forget, or we take them for granted, or, I would say something like, oh, we don't even have anything in common.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd be like, babe, like, we're on the same team. Of course we do. And then I sit there and think, man, we want the exact same things. We want the same future. I was just angry in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say in the last 2 years of battling cancer, like, you just don't see that anymore.
Mm.
Now it's just like, I just love him. I just want him. I want to wake up to that face every single day.
Mm. Yes. I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's hard because I think cancer could go one of two ways in terms of strengthening or harming your relationship. So I'm so inspired by your relationship for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. I'm one lucky girl.
Yeah.
So it makes it easy.
Okay, so we'll shift into.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
lighter note.
we know a lot of people. I'm sure you do too. Who are dealing with something similar, and it's very important that they know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
And because it can get lonely. In those treatment rooms when you come home and you or your partner, whoever's sick, is too tired to do XYZ and not themselves. So to know that you're not alone in that is really important to share.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Okay, so recently we've been obsessed with really dissecting, no pun intended, like the gut health, and that whole obsession, and people really learning about the microbiome and connecting it to mental health. I'm fascinated by it. My sister is a holistic nutritionist, and it is also really fascinated by it too. So we have like kind of daily chats about, what's working for her and maybe what I'm eating and what I'm feeling that day, whether I'm having a high or a low, or have a big come down and I'm just feeling, disconnected from my creativity or my thoughts, whatever it is. So I'm just fascinated by that whole conversation. So I would love to hand it over to you and kind of talk about what you've been studying and what you've been seeing and what's been working and not working for your clients, those around you.
Yeah, for sure. So some people will go, well, goodness, Charity, what in the world? What is all this talk with gut health lately and probiotics? And is this kind of a fad thing, or why is this kind of surfaced all of a sudden? It has to do with something called the Human Microbiome Project, which that just actually finished up in 2013. Before we even kind of get into that, we have to step back to the early 2000s to something called the Human Genome Project. And this was basically a study of genes to try to kind of figure out a little bit more about the human genes and how they contribute to disease. And interestingly enough, when they were done with the genome study, they're like, genes don't really answer as many of the things as we were hoping that they would. For example, humans have about 23,000 genes. Well, a rice plant has more than 40,000. And so they're like, well, an earthworm has more than a human. And you're like, how can humans be so incredibly complex with fewer genes than very, very simple organisms in a sense? So that's what gave birth to the Human Microbiome Project. And that just finished up in 2013. And that's why it's such kind of recent research. In the years since then, there's been a lot of funding that's gone into developing a little bit more knowledge about the microbiome. But what we now know is that humans, we have 10 times more bacterial cells than we do even human cells. And so what this tells us is that humans, we've learned we're incredibly, brilliantly complex And we don't necessarily need genes for all of our functions. We've learned to outsource it to bacteria. So bacteria will do certain things in our body that we're reliant upon. But here's kind of the kicker. The problem is, in our day and age, we've kind of created a barrier between ourselves and the natural environment where bacteria is found. So like, I don't know about you guys, but I truthfully don't get out in nature nearly as much as I should. I didn't even do a garden this year. I'm not playing in dirt. My food, sanitation laws in the country and antimicrobial soaps and antibacterial everything. We've basically just kind of created a barrier between this ecosystem of bacteria that our body really truly needs to thrive. And that's kind of why we've been seeing so many different gut issues, even brain issues, mood issues, anxiety, stress, skin problems, IBS, Crohn's disease, colitis, constipation. I mean, I could kind of go on, but we're really seeing and learning a lot of people have basically an imbalance, and they just need that bacteria to get back to where their body can thrive.
With gut health. So are most people, I guess, can you tell me a little bit more about the physiological part of it? So like, what is our digestive system like? How does it work? And like, how does our gut health relate to our digestive system? Because I'm kind of having a hard time visualizing it in my body.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go with, first of all, the terminology gut. When people go, okay,
yes,
what does she mean? Like, are we talking like that beer belly that hangs over that we see? So your gut actually begins in your mouth. A lot of people know that. Digestion begins in your mouth. So you're technically, if we're going to get technical, when we talk about kind of your digestive system, in a sense, we're talking about everything from your mouth, so where food enters your body, all the way down to where food leaves your body. So, and there's enzymes, and there's a lot going on. So when people say your gut health, it really could be anything along that line. So food goes down your esophagus, it goes to your stomach, and then it's absorbed. All your nutrients are really essentially absorbed in your small intestine, but it's your large intestine, your colon, is where the majority of your bacteria is going to have a really, really important role. And so what I tell people is that there's two things essentially that I recommend everybody kind of check in with themselves and go, I wonder how I'm doing on that checklist. So here's the two things. I'm not a proponent of any specific diet out there. I've been on every single one of them, but I am a huge proponent of fiber. It's boring, right? Boring fiber. But from a disease prevention standpoint, from a nutritional standpoint, fiber is just key. And of all the nutrients in this country, it's pretty much at the very top of what Americans are just not getting enough of, and it's fiber. So the second thing that people need is healthy bacteria. And it sounds kind of crazy, but healthy bacteria feeds off of fiber. So for so long, we just thought fiber was just kind of this undigested food starch that just goes through the body and exits the body. Well, we now know it's actually a really powerful source of food and fuel for good, healthy bacteria. Now, for somebody that struggled with weight loss, that would be the category I fall into, and I'm sure some of your listeners would consider themselves in that category also. We've heard for so long that diet and exercise are key to maintaining a healthy body. And they are. Like, I will tout that to the day I die, right? You've got to get a healthy diet and you've got to exercise. But there's one more element. I call it the trifecta that too often people aren't considering. And that third element is gut health. So let's say there's somebody that's changed their diet. They've met with a trainer. They're staying on point with their meal plan. And they're like, man, I don't know what's going on. I'm not really losing weight. Kind of what's going on here? Well, they very well could have a gut imbalance in terms of healthy bacteria, because what happens is when healthy bacteria ferments, that's the terminology, it ferments the fiber, something powerful is created. It's called short-chain fatty acids. Now, when you first hear that word, I think it feels like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound very good, but it's nothing. It's actually a very positive thing. Short-chain fatty acids are created in the large intestine, and that's actually what triggers to your fat tissue or your adipose tissue that it can go ahead and release fat.
What?
So, yeah, pretty fascinating. So people that are struggling, they're like, man, I'm trying everything. If they get on a good probiotic or really start kind of taking care of their gut, they can start seeing some amazing results.
Wow. So with fiber, having fiber in your digestive system or having it in your colon or your large intestine, you have the ability to produce short-term fatty acids, which signals to your body that you could release fat.
Yep. Short-chain fatty acids is what they're called. Yes.
Wow.
People can Google it. Short-chain fatty acids, and they're like, oh my gosh, these are really important. How do I get more of these? And then you're like, eat fiber and get good, healthy bacteria in your body.
What are your favorite forms of fiber that we can be eating kind of every day easily?
Every single thing that your grandmother told you that you should be eating.
Yeah.
But sometimes people, they thumb their nose at that and like, oh, I hate broccoli. Well, guess what? Raspberries are loaded with fiber. Like a cup of raspberries is loaded with fiber. Even avocado, right? We already know avocado is a good, healthy fat, but avocado is a great source of fiber. Artichokes, beans. I'm a huge fan of beans, black beans, kidney beans, pretty much all plant food because fiber is essentially plant roughage. So all plant food has lots and lots of fiber. So people that are on a high protein diet, I just will caution them if their protein's coming from animal products rather than plant-based products, that animal products don't have fiber in them. It only comes from plants. So they might need to make an extra little effort to make sure they're getting enough fiber. And truthfully, most people aren't, like I mentioned earlier.
I love phylum husk too.
Yes.
I love phylum husk. I put it in my smoothies in the morning and it makes them so thick. And sometimes they'll even do like really quickly, I'll put phylum husk in a cup and then put water on it and I'll have to like chug it because it gets so gelatinous.
Yes.
But it's so good. Like I feel full for hours. It's amazing.
Which is brilliant. And it's so good for you. In fact, they did a study and they took two groups, both trying to lose weight, but they told them don't do anything different. With the control group, they watched. And then with the intervention group, they gave them psyllium husk, 1 tablespoon in the morning and 1 tablespoon in the evening, and they lost more weight. And you mentioned the exact phrase, the gelatinous, it's forming nature of it, helps them to feel more full. And so they would eat less at their next meal.
And it keeps you so regular.
Yes, it's like so good for you.
So it's psyllium husk.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, it's
bless her heart.
Yeah, she's special.
One of those weird words. Yeah, psyllium husk.
Yeah.
And truly, not everybody can handle it. It's so maybe the elderly, people that might have had bariatric surgery, sometimes little kids that are constipated. The psyllium husk is a little harsh. So there's a product people can buy on Amazon called Tino, just Tino. And it is it is a mixture of quite a few different fibers, which is also really good. We now know that different fibers, a lot of people think there's just one type of fiber. There's actually not. There's different types of fibers. But we actually now know that different fibers actually fuel different types of bacteria in the body. So get a good variety of, variety is always a good thing to remember when looking for a diet. I always tell people, think of the rainbow and just try to get a few different types of colors in your diet and you'll be getting different types of antioxidants, different types of fibers. So that's kind of a little easy rule of thumb to remember.
Now, in terms of the probiotics, like so I think I've just been like following the trend, right? Like I'll take my probiotics, but do they make your bacteria healthier? Do they replace it? Do they?
Like, what are they? What are we taking?
Really good question. Okay, so probiotics basically are just healthy bacteria that offer a benefit to the host, that basically stay alive so that they can offer a benefit to the host. Now, here's the sad thing. A lot of the probiotics on the market, we now know they don't make it to the large intestine. They have to be able to stay alive. So that's where they've got to get. Now, in order to get there, they've got your mouth has digestive enzymes. So Some will be killed off there. Then your stomach has stomach acids. Then you've got bile salts that break down food. Then you've got pancreatic enzymes that break down food. And unfortunately, most probiotics on the market do not survive. You'll even see something that will say they've got enteric coating to help them survive. Well, that may be true, but if you think of nature, where is there enteric coating in nature? So what I really tell people is there's a few things to watch for when you're looking for a probiotic. The first and foremost is look to see if it's DNA verified. Unfortunately, the supplement world has kind of gotten a bad rap a little bit lately that what was in the bottle wasn't actually what was labeled on the bottle wasn't exactly what was in the bottle. So I recommend that they make sure it's DNA verified. That means that a third party is tested it to say, hey, what's in here is actually what's in here. The second thing that I tell people to look for is if the company says that it has been tested for survivability. That means it makes it all the way exactly through the system, like I said, and it survives. So the truth is, there's been a lot of mixed marketing, and that it confuses people. When people are confused, a lot of the time they just don't know what to do, so they don't do anything. And I fell into that same category. Or I would buy, refrigerated probiotics because that's what I heard was best. But then I realized, well, wait a minute. If it's refrigerated because it will die at room temperature, what's going to happen as soon as it hits my stomach acids?
Yeah.
That's... and I'd spend a lot of money on those. Now, if I'm being fully transparent, there are some studies that show that even dead probiotics do offer a little bit of a benefit to the host. The body knows how to break them down and use different portions for different things. So, but truthfully, if people are going to spend money, they want to make sure that it's going to do something. Otherwise, they're wasting their money, and they'd be better off doing fermented foods. But fermented foods are not probiotics, which makes people crazy when I say that. But the main difference is this: fermented foods are phenomenal. They will do amazing things for your gut. They've got nutrients in them that are so good for you. But here's the key difference: they will not colonize. So they won't get down to your large intestine and colonize. And truthfully, a really, really good probiotic is technically also an antibiotic, meaning it will identify parasites and kill them. It will identify fungus and kill them. It's kind of like a gardener that can go, this is not supposed to be here. Let's get rid of it. So here's where that's quite important, the colonizing aspect. Let's say somebody did a candida cleanse, and I'm going to use that as an example because I did a candida cleanse. I did a 6-week cleanse and felt amazing, but it wasn't very long after my cleanse was done where I was like, man, I got the sugar cravings back. What's going on? I kind of feel like I'm back at square one. Well, here's what happened. You can cleanse the candida out of your body, but it's really an overgrowth, okay? We all have candida. It's only when it's an overgrowth that it's a problem. But if you don't colonize I'm going to use a term, it's called the mucosal lining. So candida is really, really opportunistic. So if you don't recolonize that mucosal lining where the candida was, it's just going to keep on coming back. And that's where a really good probiotic will come into play.
So it'll help recolonize that mucosal lining?
Yes.
With good stuff instead of candida, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. And the people don't realize, so we are constantly being exposed to good and bad bacteria, but there's certain things that people can do that can harm their healthy bacteria. So it's going to be the same old stuff that people are like, oh man, so a diet high in sugar, a diet high in processed foods, that's going to kill off some of your healthy bacteria. Obviously, anytime you're on an antibiotic, that's going to kill off all your bacteria, good and bad bacteria. Chlorine in your water is going to kill your good bacteria. Living in a big city, we now know pollution kills off bad bacteria, even prolonged birth control, excessive alcohol use. All these things kind of deplete your healthy bacteria, and hence the need for a probiotic. So I'm not one that believes everybody needs to go buy all these different supplements. I'm a kind of a pure nutritionist where I feel like try to get it from your diet when possible. But probiotics if you had a garden and you're pulling food out of your garden and brushing off your carrot, kind of just brushing off the dirt and then eating it, that's actually way better for you than buying stuff. But a lot of us don't do that, right? That's just not necessarily realistic for us.
Yeah, I haven't worked on my carrot garden in a while.
In a while, right?
It's weird. I forgot about it.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our sponsor, BioClarity.
BioClarity.
I turned my sister on to BioClarity.
Oh, you did? How's your skin looking?
Awesome.
Isn't it?
She has she really has troubled skin, and it's been
sorry, girl.
I know it's been like super like emotional for her as like her young early 20s, you know.
Yeah.
So she was visiting this weekend, and I had her try it, and even just using it for 3 days, she was like, "Wait, what?"
That's the thing is like with BioClarity, I was surprised that my skin didn't. Everyone's like, it breaks out before it gets better because you're getting all the dirt out and then it's going to get better. I'm like, okay, well, if I would have never used it, I would have never broken out. So that's the thing with BioClarity.
Yeah.
I never broke out. It just got better.
It just got better.
Yep. And it's so gentle. I love that it's natural. It's vegan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about it.
And it's super easy. It's a 3-step process.
Yep.
The cleanse.
And it's affordable.
It's so affordable.
Yo, stuff is so expensive. Like, honestly, some of the face washes, I get sent a lot of stuff to me in blogger mail, and I have it all just like in a bin. I should give you guys some. I should do like a
Give me
giveaway.
some.
I will.
Thanks.
But you don't, honestly,
No,
I don't
I know.
even use it because I use BioClarity.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's super effective. They have the cleanse, the treat, and the restore. The restore uses Floralux, which is that green stuff in plants, the chlorophyll. Again, guys, it works, period, at the end. So you can use our code ALMOST30 for your first month of BioClarity for $9.95 plus free shipping. Sounds good to me. No brainer. So try it out. Use our code ALMOST30, $9.95 for the first month free shipping. Enjoy. This episode is also brought to you by Zola.
Zola. I know that a lot of you babes are engaged or on your way, and I've been on a wedding tear. Everyone I know
Yeah,
and
you
love.
have been.
I was probably at like 8 or 9 last year. But I fucking love weddings. I know people hate on them, but I love them. I love to see people I love get married, and I only hang out with people I love. So, but I know that a lot of the brides that I talked a lot about some of the pains in the wedding planning process. And one of them was the registry. So they have just like outdated websites, outdated ways to have people buy stuff for their registry that don't feel very personal at all to the couple. So Zola is a brand that's changing that. So they allow couples to create and customize their experience on the registry. So it looks just like them. It has all the colors. It has photos. It has notes. It has images. And then it allows you to ask for everything that you actually want. So that's something too. It's like, okay, what if I don't want spoons from freaking Pottery Barn and I want like a dope ass honeymoon? You know, so Zola allows you to actually ask for shit that you want in a way that you want to do it. So it's taking back the registry experience, and that's why we love it so much. So we can give you a discount code for all the babes that are getting married for your registry, $50 off.
Yeah, so you go to zola.com/almost30, and at checkout, you will see the discount of $50 off your wedding registry. So again, zola.com/almost30, $50 off your registry. Enjoy, babes.
What's the difference between a prebiotic and a probiotic?
Okay, good question. So prebiotic is one of the new kind of fad terms, but
Oh, I love a good fad. I follow all of them.
I know, and I love a good prebiotic. But if I'm going to be a whistleblower on the industry, I will tell you this: it really is just fiber. It is what. So you drinking your psyllium husk every day, you're giving your body prebiotics.
Mm.
Now, ideally, you'd get a variety of different types of fibers. Like I mentioned before, different bacteria like different types of fibers. So the Tino I mentioned is a good prebiotic, but sometimes people get a little bit hyped up on there like, oh yeah, prebiotic. And I'm like, well, maybe go eat an apple and some spinach.
Now, do you take that before you eat food? Or no? Doesn't matter.
Do you take what before you eat food?
The prebiotic.
Yeah, you can, or you can just, if you're
Eat fiber.
So the probiotic that I actually love and recommend is one by Silver Fern, and it does say right on the bottle, it does have pre and probiotics right in there. So, and then the question people often have is, which brings up a good point, like when should you take your prebiotics or probiotics?
Yeah.
So the probiotics, a really good probiotic that's going to survive, will actually also help create enzymes in your body that help you digest food. And since you are eating fiber in a really good meal, it would make sense that your probiotics would actually like the fiber also. So for a good quality probiotic, like Silver Fern, for example, take it with the meal. It will actually help you with digestion. There's some questions. Some companies will say, always take on an empty stomach at night before you go to bed. Well, here's why they're saying that. Because they're worried that if you eat it during the day or you eat it with food, the digestive system, digestive enzymes and the different things that are going to be digesting that food, like your stomach acids, will actually kill the probiotic. So that's another sign. If it says, take on an empty stomach or take before bed, then it might not be surviving the way you want it to.
It's weak shit, and we don't like that.
That's right.
So I was actually going to ask you enzymes. What are your thoughts on digestive enzymes?
Yeah, so I've been delving a lot into enzymes over the past few months. And the truth is that not everybody needs them, but they sure are beneficial to almost everybody, especially with what I feel. I truthfully feel like we're living in a high protein food fad.
Yeah.
That it's been going on for quite a while, that you turn on the commercials and they've added protein to everything, right? It's just like protein.
If you say added protein, Justin, my boyfriend, will buy it. Whatever it is, if you say extra protein, he's in.
But babe, it has extra protein.
Yeah. Justin might want to look into a digestive enzyme.
I'll slip it in his drink.
Now they're finding people, they're just not digesting, especially with some of the protein powders that are out there. We're just not digesting all of the proteins. Then as people get older, our digestive enzymes aren't quite as potent as they used to be. So digestive enzymes are another one of those things that absolutely won't hurt people. Not everybody needs them, but they certainly aren't harmful. They will just be helpful. But you've got to remember, you have to take them with a meal. It can't be like an hour later and you're like, oh, I forgot my enzymes. No, there's no point. Like just when you're eating a meal.
Okay.
Now, what has been like the link to, in terms of the effectiveness of the fiber and the probiotics on maybe anxiety or any type of mental health issues? And maybe even, I don't know, I haven't heard of like an excess of protein and what that does to...
Oh gosh, well, let's do a whole other podcast on excess of protein.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, I've been told...
like the Pandora's box for me.
I forget who we were talking to, and they were saying, I mean, we always assume 30, 40 grams of protein, amazing, but we really don't need that much
100%
protein.
Right. Right.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So I won't get into absolute detail, but when I teach clients or I teach classes, here's one thing that I walk people through. I do believe that inside of us, like we are intrinsically, we have the ability to identify truth, but sometimes we got to dig a little bit deeper in our own brains. And so connect the dots. So if we eat too much fat, what does our body do with it?
Stores it?
Stores it. Exactly.
Stores it.
And is that healthy for our body? No. It's not.
No, depends on where.
I'm like, are you answering this or am I?
Yeah, if you're an Eskimo, maybe. Okay, fair enough. But the next thing I would say to my class, so we're talking macronutrients, and our society needs to focus a little bit more on micronutrients. That's like your phytochemicals, your antioxidants, your soldiers in your food. But we get really hyped up on macronutrients, fats, carbs, and proteins. So we already know if we eat too much fat, it's not good for our body. Our body doesn't. It's not good for us. We already know that. It leads to inflammation. It leads to a lot of other problems. Next question is, if you eat too many carbs, what does your body do with it?
Stores it.
Exactly. And we now know, well, that's actually not very good for our body. We don't want to have an excess of carbs. Well, here's now where I believe that we're kind of being maybe sold a bit of a lie. And that is what happens when we eat too much protein. Well, a lot of people go, I don't know. There's not really such thing as too much protein. I literally had a trainer say to me, there's no such thing as too much protein. Well, that doesn't make sense to me. How is there not a limit? Now there's not enough scientific evidence yet to show what the upper limits are, but I think that they're going to be coming out because the rates of disease are going up. I personally believe that there is such thing as too much protein.
And does it, I assume that it depends on the type of protein. So if you have an excess, like all protein isn't made the same. And correct me if I'm wrong, literally don't know.
You're right. All protein is not created the same.
But if someone had 100 grams of plant protein, would they have to do the same, like kind of maintenance or, fix it like it would be for 100 grams of like animal protein?
Yeah. So then you kind of go, I wonder if there's been any studies done on that. I wonder if there's been anything published done on that. And there actually has. The China study is a phenomenal book. Are you guys familiar with the China study?
It's amazing. Yes.
Favorite.
Yeah. So they did a study and they're like, I wonder what would happen. Well, this is actually one of the very first books I read. This was, back in like 2007, 2008, where they go, we were able to turn cancer cells on and off. We could literally watch them grow or turn them off. And they said, we'd never ever seen anything done like that. And the catalyst was how much animal protein. They couldn't mimic the same thing with plant protein. So am I saying that people shouldn't have animal protein? No, I'm not saying that. Everybody's different. I'm not here to promote any specific diet, but I would say that there are studies that have been able to show that they can turn on disease or that there is a connection with excess animal protein and disease. And they have not actually been able to do that same study ever with beans or legumes or spinach or any sort of plant protein. So there's a lot we don't know, right? We're still learning, but it certainly is quite interesting that what we do know sometimes is even hard for people to digest, for lack of a better word.
Good one, sister. I want to talk about, so we talked about, you mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast.
Brain. Sorry.
Yes.
So, but we've got to come back to the brain.
Yes, brain. That's what, yes. Okay, yes.
Okay. So for a long time we thought, okay, the brain communicates phenomenally well with the entire body. It's amazing. The brain connects to the gut, blah, blah, blah. Well, now we know that 90% of the communication goes from the gut to the brain. Okay, so think about that for a minute. We used to think maybe it was your brain telling your gut how you felt, but now we go, this gut-brain connection is pretty fascinating. So it's the gut that's communicating to the brain of maybe how you would feel, for example. Well, we also know that something like serotonin is that happy neurotransmitter, makes you feel good. We know that 80-90% of that is created in the gut. We also know there's other neurotransmitters that a good, healthy bacteria is what is helped use to create those neurotransmitters. So if your gut's off, there's a very good chance your brain is off. In fact, there's doctors that are dealing with people that suffer from anxiety. A lot of teenagers these days, we're seeing mood disorders, stress disorders, but a lot of them are finding an interesting link that when they ask them about their gut, how regular are you? How often are you bloated, gassy? Is constipation an issue or whatever? They're noticing a link between brain issues and gut issues. Here's another example. So there is a lot of addiction out there, sadly to say. Like I told you, I've been studying addiction. Whether it is something like pornography or drug addiction or sugar addiction or whatever, we have a neurotransmitter called GABA. GABA is kind of like an anti-excited neurotransmitter. It's actually one that will kind of calm you down, help you release addictive thoughts. But when people do not have enough GABA in their brain, let's say they've got a pornography addiction. Well, a healthy brain would be able to maybe, I don't know, see a photo and then be able to kind of release those thoughts. But without enough GABA in the brain, it just can't let go. It can't let go. It can't calm the brain down. And so GABA, we know, is dependent on bacteria. There's bacteria that help create GABA. So really, really, and there's more research coming out all the time about the link between the brain and the gut and bacteria, and something called dysbiosis. Dysbiosis is when there's an imbalance of good and bad bacteria in your body. And so then people go, well, how do I know? How do I know if I have an imbalance? Well, there's a few signs. One could be rate your skin. You know, if you're like, oh, my skin's amazing, like it's glowing and radiant. Or if you're like, actually, I wish I could wear a ski mask. I wish that was socially acceptable, right? Like, it depends on where they are. Or you could say, obviously, things, the more obvious ones are, does food make your stomach hurt? Because I've been very blessed. I've got an iron gut. I have no gut issues. Food does not make me hurt ever. Like so that's another thing. But here's an interesting one. How are your sugar cravings? Sugar cravings often come from bad bacteria. And so for me, I did 5 days. 5 days is what it takes. And this is what I recommend to my clients too, to do three things. To be fair, we're going to do 3 things to help get rid of a sugar craving. Because man, when you have sugar cravings, they're real. It's like, I almost tackled a kid for a donut. Like, we're talking real stuff, okay?
I know how you feel, girl.
Yeah. So you're like, when you're in the moment, it's like saying, okay, get off sugar. Well, that's like saying to an alcoholic, how about you just don't drink today? It's not always that easy.
Yep.
So for 5 days, I recommend that they do the test. The first thing is, just try at least, don't do too much excessive sugar. I'm not saying give it all up for those 5 days, but just try. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is get on a good probiotic, one that's going to survive, one that will identify bad bacteria, that will get rid of it and help get your gut back on track. And the third thing that I recommend, that I've actually become quite a big fan of, is intermittent fasting. Now, that term originally, had fear written all through my face. I'm like, I hate fasting. And it means different things to different people. But when I say intermittent fasting, here's my definition. Giving your body a time of rest between dinner and breakfast. Studies show for females, ideally they would go 12 to 14 hours. And this is from a gut standpoint, okay? This is from how to improve your gut by killing off bad bacteria, okay? So this has nothing to do with calorie. You would still eat all your calories. It's just about the window with which you would be eating your calories. So what we know is there are so many strains of bacteria in our body, like billions. We can't even identify all of them right now. But there are some really healthy strains in your large intestine that we can't duplicate outside of the body. Imagine that. Mother Nature did it, but we can't. So we know that those specific strains proliferate, or they multiply at their very best in a fasted state, when they're not fighting with other bacteria that's eating food. They're not fighting with anything else. They're just, your body's in a state of rest. We know now that healthy bacteria actually starts to grow. So men do better science shows men unfortunately do better by going a little bit longer, 14 to 16 hours. So when I work with clients, I just say, listen, if you're going to eat dinner, let's say you finish eating dinner at 6 p.m., just don't have breakfast till 6 or 7 the next day. Like, that's pretty reasonable. And I think intuitively we go, that actually really, really feels right. That makes sense that your body would need a time of rest. So those 3 things, trying to stay off sugar, getting good probiotic, and trying intermittent fasting, I'm not even joking. In 5 days, people will be like, is this voodoo magic? Like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
I literally feel totally in control. Does sugar still look good, taste good, feel good? Of course it does. But am I in control? They're like, this is absolutely remarkable.
Yeah, I felt like, so I'm a fan of sugar. It's like,
It's my thing. And sometimes, honestly, so I'm vegan-ish, and I would used to eat this type of ice cream, whatever. And I honestly would like feel my brain being like, yo, this is the best thing I've ever done. And all I want to do in my life is eat this fucking ice cream. Like it would literally be telling myself that, like, all right, yo, let's like lock ourselves in a room and have 100 more pints of this ice cream and just like call it like a call it a night. But since sort of having less sugar in my life, I felt like a difference in my personality and mood and my ability to like handle my emotions, my ability to handle stress. The other day I haven't had like a sugar binge. You know, I use that term like loosely. It's not anything out of control or anything that like controls my life, but I had a sugar binge, there was cupcakes in the office. And sometimes when you're in an office at work, it's very low and you're just like alone with the cupcakes and you just kind of eat them. So I ate them and I felt immediately that sense of like anxiety and that a sense of like my mood shifting to like more fear-based and more like out of control than it has been in so long. And I remembered what it was like to kind of feel controlled by sugar and like how it takes over your emotions and it makes you upset. It makes you angry. It really just can change your entire outlook.
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. In fact, I've just been on my Instagram the last week posting over and over different studies, different things that I'm reading about dopamine receptors in the brain. And my Instagram is A Vibrant Life. So not everybody's interested, but for those people that are, where they're like, oh yeah, I hear you. Like sugar is my thing. It's very, very interesting the similarities between cocaine and heroin and sugar on the brain. And people are like, oh, come on now, that's pretty extreme. And you're like, well, in some ways it's extreme because it doesn't control our behavior. But from a brain scan, it's no different.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty interesting stuff. So when people have cravings, right, we're trying to I like to think of it in the terms of I'm trying to heal my brain from the sugar and I'm trying to heal my body from the bacteria that wants the sugar also.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our sponsor,
BarkBox. Do you guys know what to get the people in your life that love their dogs for Christmas?
No.
Well, let me tell you. You got to get them BarkBox. So I actually got BarkBox for our photographer, Natasha, our friend. And then I also got BarkBox for my client at work as a gift for her. So now she is a dog lover. She's dog obsessed. So she feels like a special connection that we actually listen to her, that we care about her because we care about her dog.
I love that. BarkBox is a delivery of 4 to 6 natural treats and super fun toys.
Oh, they're so cute.
Curated around a surprise theme. The themes are so
hilarious.
There was like a pumpkin spice latte with like an acorn thingy. Like it was so fall. It made me puke. So this is how it works. You choose your dog size, tell them how big your dog's bark is, small and cute, just right, or big and bold. And then you choose a plan. 1, 6, or 12-month plans are available. You can cancel at any time and there is free shipping. And the BarkBox are delivered on the 15th of each month. So you can expect it then. Very exciting. So yeah, it's all natural dog treats and really fun toys. They are made in the USA or Canada, and 100% of their products are tested on animals. So they just know that the animals are going to love them. Okay, so for our listeners, you can go to barkbox.com/almost30, BarkBox, BarkBox.com/almost30 for a free extra month of BarkBox when you subscribe to a 6 or 12-month plan. So a free extra month of BarkBox when you subscribe to a 6 or 12-month plan. That sounds amazing. BarkBox.com/almost30. Enjoy. This episode is also brought to you by Yeah Field Trip. As you guys know, Krista and I will be attending Yeah Field Trip in 2018, February 23rd to the 27th. It is a 5-day, 4-night event for evolving creators and artists, entrepreneurs. We are so stoked. It will be taking place at El Capitan Canyon, which is this really relaxing, natural, unplugged environment right by the ocean. And it's just the perfect venue for you to unplug completely. beautiful, beautiful. And it's going to be kind of like a glamping experience. So we won't be like tinkling in the woods. My mom uses that word to say pee, but we will be in luxurious cabins. It's going to be great. And Field Trip, at Field Trip, they believe that expanding your mind is essential. And for this reason, they pour their best energy into bringing us 3 full days filled with classes taught by innovative teachers that will help us to excel in our businesses and our crafts. So peruse the site, yeahfieldtrip.com, YEAH, fieldtrip.com. Go to teachers, check out who's teaching. It's going to be incredible. And guess what? Special announcement, Krista and I will be teaching a class at Field Trip. So we, as you know, we are so passionate about podcasting and would love to share with you how to start a podcast and especially gain success within the first year of podcasting, building your community, etc. So we will be there and teaching a class. So excited to meet you. You can use our code almost30 for $100 off the ticket price. So fieldtrip.com, almost 30 is the code for $100 off the ticket price. Think like Coachella, but without the Molly and like the ear bleeding music, but for creatives, it's going to be a learn fest and a connection fest. We cannot wait. So what do you suggest, in terms of how people can come off of the sugar without cutting it cold turkey? Are there like substitutes that they can incorporate, right away and then a little less over time?
Yeah. So, gosh, that could be a podcast in and of itself. Quit sugar, and there's different philosophies out there. So, and brains are actually quite different. We know that about 30% of the population has their brain is just wired differently. That they are more susceptible to addiction. That's it. There's no other way to say it. They've got less dopamine receptors in their brain. Some people will go, I wonder if that's me. I know that that's me. But they've also found that if you have alcoholism that runs in your family, check, that's me, especially if it's on your paternal side. That's me. That there's a chance that you fall into that category of the 30% of Americans have brain susceptibility. And actually 18% would say they even have high brain susceptibility. They did tests with rats and mice. They found the same thing with rats. Not all rats will get addicted, but 30% will. But here's the other interesting thing that people really need to remember. Even if they don't fall onto that brain addiction like the susceptibility, too much exposure to an addictive substance can create an addiction also. So that's kind of interesting. But so there's different ways. For some people, they really are better off just going cold turkey. Like, that's it. I'm done. This is bad for me. I'm not going to eat it. And then other people do really, really good at easing into it by making maybe protein balls that are, you use dates and nuts and cocoa powder or whatever that just kind of help them get through the cravings. Silverfern has an amazing chocolate that has probiotics in the chocolate and it's sugar-free.
It's so
that helps
good.
me get off my cravings.
Yeah.
So just finding, I do feel like substitutes do help people kind of wean them off. Just even if it's something like a tablespoon of honey, right? Yeah, I will not admit to doing that, but I may or may have not done that before where I'm like, I just need something to wean myself off.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the struggle is real, ladies. It's real for a lot of people.
Well, I think once you realize how good you feel when you're not consuming sugar on a regular basis, I think it becomes like a normal feeling to have that like high and that energy and that even if you have like a bunch of grapes in the morning or something, right?
Yeah.
Like I love fruit, I don't think I'll ever cut out fruit completely, but
I'm a big fan of fruit. It's loaded with fiber.
Yeah.
You gotta think of the big picture. Tons of antioxidant nutrients. I mean, fruit is not sugar. And I cringe when people are like, oh yeah, I don't do fruit because of the sugar. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
So many nutrients.
It's so true. Yeah. I just notice like in the morning, if I have any type of sugary anything, it's usually something I gravitate towards and it's fruit and I love the fruit, but sometimes I do hit a little bit of I guess I don't couple it.
Harder.
I don't couple it with
sugar.
Yeah. I don't couple it with like a protein or a fat. now I've been doing like an avocado with other things on it, like an egg or whatever it is.
Yes.
And that seems to,
Smart.
I begin my
slow down.
day,
Yep.
much more evenly. So I'm just kind of like floating into my day rather than like a fucking rocket ship. And I'm like, then I hit a wall by like 1 or 2. And now it's just like a really nice release of energy. And I'm not feeling like so overwhelmed.
Yeah. You've got it. You hit it right on. Just pair it with some other things, and it will not hit your blood sugar quite as quickly.
Okay, I want to talk about, what are your thoughts on colonoscopies and colonics?
Yeah. So, gosh, I'm a big fan.
Or I guess it would just be a colonic. A colonoscopy is like medically recommended.
Yes. So, colonoscopy. Obviously, colon cancer is the number 2 cause of cancer deaths. My husband was not that old, and so colonoscopy. Yep. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as colonics go, I'm a fan of colonics. I'm a fan of enemas. I've become a fan. This is going to freak people out. They're going to be like, this lady is weird. I've become a fan of coffee enemas. But there is actually some science now, unfortunately, that shows too many colonics does flush out good bacteria. So if people are like, oh my gosh, I'm on this cleanse and I do a colonic every day for 14 days, I might be like, okay, that's okay. Just please be taking a really good probiotic. Make sure you're building up your healthy bacteria while you're doing those.
So what's the difference between an enema and a colonic?
We're really going to get into the nitty-gritty.
Let's do it.
Basically, how far the water is going to, a colonic is going to be like a high-powered, think of a car wash where you just kind of pour a little water over it. That would be similar to maybe an enema, whereas a high-powered car wash is going to be a colonic.
So I don't even know how it works. So it basically blasts water in your butthole and then you poop.
In your butthole. Yeah, exactly.
I love hearing you say butthole. I just want you to say butthole again. Welcome to Almost 30 Podcast, where we laugh when we say the word butthole.
Because we're
almost 30.
Oh, that's funny. One other thing that I thought you guys would be interested in is some new science that has come out in terms of athletes and strenuous exercise and how
LT's ears perked up.
Affects your gut.
Lindsay's listening.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
She's a fitness instructor. She's on the bike 13 times a week.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, this will be interesting to you. There's more and more evidence that shows that athletes are actually more susceptible to gut issues. And that is because for some reason I shouldn't say for some reason, there's actually a reason for it. When your body is exercising, that blood is being concentrated to those muscles, and some of it is leaving your gut, and that actually impairs some of your healthy bacteria. So they did a cool study with some athletes. They tested their performance, and then they asked them to just get on a probiotic for 30 days and don't change anything else. And then they came back and they tested their performance again, and there was a significant improvement. Now, by the term significant, that's a statistical terminology in studies. It has to have reach a certain level, and then they would say it was significant. So that was just kind of an interesting study. And there's actually more and more coming out with athletes just to be aware of. It's kind of one of those things where somebody goes, oh, my dad died of a heart attack, my granddad died of a heart attack, and so did his dad. So then you go, well, that tells you that you're actually prone to heart disease. You probably need to just be watching what you eat, right? You've got just know yourself. That's the same thing with an athlete. I would never say, oh, you should be afraid, or oh, you should cut back. Absolutely not. But just be aware that your healthy bacteria, you might want to be replenishing it, or for even more reasons, maybe watch your alcohol consumption, watch your sugar intake, because those things are going to deplete your good bacteria also. So just interesting things to be aware of with your body.
No, it's so interesting. I mean, I have a pretty iron gut, and I don't feel like I have, well, what I do find is that my stool is inconsistent. So meaning like there will be some days when it goes through me quite quickly. So I know that that's not healthy. So it's not as solid, but then there are other days where it's like solid and looks like it should look. So I definitely know it's because of how much I overwork my body. And also just like for hydration and gut health, obviously hydration is key in a lot of things, but what do you see, like what happens when you are properly hydrated to your gut? What happens there?
Yeah, so just there's H2O. That's, everybody knows that that's waters, but those are actual things that your body uses. So in your gut, there's different things that need the H. There's different things that need the O, the oxygen. And when you don't have them, your body just is not functioning properly. Now, that's everything from, your muscles not working properly without the water, but from how regular kind of thing are you? People that have gut issues, hydration is huge. They've got to stay hydrated. I mean, that's kind of old news that sometimes people forget. But unfortunately, like, people think, well, I drink Diet Coke, that's hydration. You're like, actually, that's not hydration. Or I had an energy drink before I went to work. Yeah, that's not hydration. We're just talking water or tea, right? Herbal tea, different teas. That's real water. Or mixing your protein shake with water, right? Those are all different ways to hydrate. But I'm a big fan of, you can drink whatever you want as long as your water intake, you're meeting your water requirements, which is about half your body weight in ounces.
Okay, I'm on it. It's a constant struggle.
Awesome.
I never know when I'm hydrated or not. I'm assuming I'm dehydrated most of the time, kind of no matter how much water I drink, because I'm losing so much.
Yeah. The other thing to remember, though, people that are, you said you eat predominantly a plant-based diet.
Yeah, I do.
So your diet will actually be more hydrated than the average American diet. So let's say you had a big salad and then fruit, and you're like, honestly, Charity, I'm really not that thirsty. Then for you, it'd be like, great. It's great. You don't,
right.
I mean, you're eating a lot of hydrated foods already.
Yeah, that's so true.
Eat your water.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love what we've covered.
Me
I feel
too.
Like
this has been amazing,
no, it's great.
Charity.
Now, last question for me. Just to kind of circle back, has your husband's diet changed in treating as he's been fighting?
Yeah. Yes, it has. That is a very interesting, surprisingly emotional question for me, actually, that you would just say that. I feel like emotion coming up inside of me. He is the day. So here's my sweet, that love of my life. He knew every calibrated Diet Coke machine in the city. So when we would travel, I'm not even joking, he had a mug as a carry-on. I'm like, Dan, you're so disgusting.
Oh my God.
Who does that? And he was a burger and fry kind of guy. He ate ice cream all the time, but he was always thin. Like, he's like, it was never, and I'd have a bite of his ice cream and would put on weight. I'm like, this is crazy. So the day he was diagnosed, he said, babe, you've been telling me for years that I need to change my diet. And he did. He went full vegan. We juiced every day. He did infrared saunas. Diet was definitely a very, very large part of it. And unfortunately, the cancer just kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. And then I felt divinely prompted, almost like a brick on the head, because I had to meet with 5 different specialists before I would even try it. And we put him on, he's on a ketogenic diet right now.
Oh,
wow.
And I'll be honest, I'm not a fan. Overall, it makes me crazy.
Yeah.
But I can tell you why he's on a ketogenic diet. So a healthy human body, we have 2 ways to create energy. We use glucose and we create energy. But in the emergency that our body couldn't have access to glucose, our body can convert ketones to energy. So we've got a glycogenic pathway and we have a ketogenic pathway. Well, cancer cells do not have a ketogenic pathway. So we are doing our very best right now to starve his cells of all glucose. But it's one of those things where he's not getting maybe the nutrients from the foods that I wish he were, but we're kind of to that point where we're trying it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
keep us posted on that. Cause I've been hearing a lot about that. And then a lot of like the research around Alzheimer's and Down syndrome and cancer on that.
Different thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and the truth is he prefers that to the vegan diet. He's like, I prefer it, but he also has to be very, very, very strict. Right? There's no point in him being ketogenic and then him taking a few bites here and there of other things that will knock him out of ketosis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'd be way more challenging than a vegan diet.
Yeah, I do
from
too.
My personal perspective.
And I'll share with you one thing that I've learned. I mean, it's been a journey been very humbling, lots of tears, lots of learning, lots of growing, lots of kissing and hugging. But one thing that was striking to me is that a healthy body is actually different than a sick body. So they actually respond to foods differently. They respond to insulin differently. They respond to glucose differently. And I think a lot of time we talk in our culture about different foods or diets or whatever, and we assume that a healthy body and our sick body are the same, and they're just not. So my one huge plea to everybody out there is keep your body healthy. Like, don't let it get to it till it's sick. We are now classifying obesity as a disease. It's a disease because your body is no longer functioning. Your cells, your organs, they're no longer functioning the way a healthy body functions. And so are there, I don't know, steps to be taken for a sick body that I wouldn't recommend for a healthy body? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Keep us posted on that. That's so interesting. That's very interesting. So, and we're praying for you. We're praying for your husband.
Oh, thank you.
Your light around it and your love is so inspirational and beautiful. And yeah, this was an amazing conversation. I feel so enlightened. You're so smart. You're so well spoken. You're so passionate. And I know that our listeners are going to really love to learn about this. They just eat up the wellness and health stuff. So they are going to be taking little notes.
Oh, good. Well, you guys are so sweet. And I did want to mention that you guys, for all of your listeners out there, they can get, if they use a code almost 30, that's the code, almost 30, they can get 15% off of their order at silverfern.com, silverfernbrand.com.
Silverfernbrand.com. And I've been taking their probiotics for the past couple weeks now. I love them. It's really helped just kind of like, I feel just less bloated, and I feel like I wake up with like that flatter stomach because I've had my good probiotics. And then I also had some of the fiber drinks, with the packets. I forget what that's called.
Oh, the wide drinks, the probiotic wide drinks.
I love them. Like I ran out in like 2 days. I was kind of bummed because I love to drink water, not really but like it's so boring. So it has fiber. It's delicious. I need more of those packets like ASAP. But Silver Fern's products are so well made and amazing. So we're so excited to share that code with you guys.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love it. You guys are amazing. I love what you're doing. I love your energy.
Oh, thanks.
So fun.
Likewise, sis.
We'd love to have you back on. I'm sure we have a lot more to talk about as things develop too. Yes. But thank you so much for making the time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we know it's late. So thanks so much, Charity.
So fun.